Tigers win 5-0. They blank the Vols. LSU lives to play another day. We are live. Whatever you got, pour it, raise it. Get plugged in here. I don't want my battery to die. Hang on. All right, we plugged in. Let's go little Blantons for your boy. Calandros. Of course, all Blantons are single barrels, but this is the Calandros barrel pick. Boy, dump date 10/23 of 18. October 2018 and was the dump date. Beautiful sound. Let's get a pour. And let's all celebrate the Tigers. End Tennessee's season. I am anxiously awaiting a video from T-Bob clowning Tennessee yet again. I don't know that LSU is going to go on and win the national title, but to have won a couple of games in Omaha, to extend your stay, to get to the point where you have another swing at Wake Forest, you get to go play a game tomorrow, and if somehow you find a way to win it, you get Paul Skeens back on Thursday to pitch into the championship series. So great resilience by this LSU team. It would have been very easy after the disappointment of the loss to Wake Forest and the manner in which it happened to lay down and not get up off the mat, but this team did it. You had an epic for the ages pitching performance from Nate Atkenhausen, which we will talk about. You ran up against a pitcher in Drew Beam who you had on the ropes early. You couldn't deliver the knockout blow. He settled into a really nice groove, but then, you know, your best player and the best player in baseball does what the best player in baseball should do, and Dylan Cruz comes up with the big blast. Their top nine to give you your margin. So 5 runs on 8 hits for the Tigers. Obviously very efficient. No runs on 6 hits for Tennessee. As we talked about plenty with Tennessee, not the same offense from a year ago. What they did have was pitching, and you did enough. You did enough tonight. You could have done more, and you had opportunities to do more, which we'll talk about here as we kind of go through the game. But excited for it. So do me a favor, y'all. Thank you so much for watching live. Smash the like button. If you're new, please subscribe up to the YouTube channel. And this broadcast here is going to be brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. I got Hudco pinned in the chat. First and foremost, sincerely hope everybody's okay. Tons of hail all over the area today, from Alexandria south all over Baton Rouge. So if you had hail, would love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. You can click the link right there that's pinned in the chat. The inspection form is on the homepage. It'll take it 30 seconds to fill out, and we'll get to you. So Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. All right, Chris McGinnis, what's going on? Jude McLaren, Peter Fennert, what's going on? Palumbos, Peter. Now that's a team that can't hit lefties. The narrative on Tennessee this year was that they struggled against lefties. They hit about, it was about 35 points lower against lefties than they did against righties. They were about 260 against lefties, 295 against righties. So, and boy, was Nate Atkenhausen awesome today. So, all right, let's get into it. Hunter Fournette. Tennessee shutout without Skeens. You know they're melting. By the way, Hunter, I was jumping onto this live stream, and I thought about, before jumping on the live stream, tweeting, so LSU can't win without Paul Skeens. That's been the narrative. Yet yesterday, LSU played the best team in the country and the consensus #1 team. And Ty Floyd had 10 strikeouts through 5 innings of shutout ball. Was incredible. And now, obviously, you just had Nate Atkenhausen making his first start of the season, going and completely shoving it up Tennessee's bunghole. Bottom of Tennessee's order, Nate Atkenhausen completely owned him. He shut him out. So, he owned all of them. But if you haven't seen Atkenhausen's line score, 6 innings, Obviously, no runs, 4 hits, struck out 7, walked 0. Y'all, that is the story for this pitching staff. They have plenty of good arms. The stuff is plenty good enough. They have gotten into trouble this year when they start walking hitters. Case in point, look at what happened in the 6th inning against Wake Forest when you walked the bases loaded. In one inning, you walked 4 batters and you hit another one. You gave away 5 bases. And that's the 2 runs they scored in that inning. So Nate Atkenhausen was just awesome. His season-long outing up until this point was 3 2/3 in the SEC tournament, that game against South Carolina. He had started in JUCO, but this was his first start at LSU. And what a time to come up with the biggest outing of your career. So, to eat up 6 innings and then for Cooper to come back and give you 3 more to get those final 9 outs was huge. So Atkenhausen threw 93 pitches. He's going to be shelved. Let's see. For Atkenhausen to pitch again, you'd be looking at today's Tuesday, certainly not Wednesday or Thursday. You'd have to get into the championship series for some possibility of Atkenhausen throwing again. But Cooper, 40 pitches. I doubt you'd throw him tomorrow, but he could absolutely give you something on Thursday if you get to the game on Thursday. So, I think we were hopeful Atkenhausen could maybe get you 9 outs, but the way he mowed through the first inning, 3 up, 3 down. In the second inning, he gave up the single to Merritt, but then immediately got the double play. So he faced the minimum through 2. The lineup turned over in the third with 2 outs. Ahuna got the single. Ensley was hit by a pitch. So we're thinking maybe this is the end of the rope. He's got you to this point. He gets Dickey to fly out, so you made it through 4. Through 3. And I was a little surprised I went back to him in the 4th. He got him 3 up, 3 down. Now, at that point, I was totally fine with them going to him in the 5th because he had dominated the bottom of the order the first time through. He struck out the 7, 8, 9 hitters. And so in the 5th, you were facing 7, 8, 9. He strikes out Denton again. He gets Scott to fly out, and that's when he had trouble. Stark got hit by the pitch. Ahuna doubled, but they held the runner at third. And then they got Ensley to fly out to right field. So he made it through 5. I certainly thought that was going to be it for Atkenhausen through 5. But, Jay Johnson, if y'all give me a second, I'll play this for you. Jay, after the game yesterday, was asked about his pitching plan for today. Let's see, I have the audio. Here you go. So this is what Jay said after the game against Wake Forest about his pitching plan for today. Here you go.
What's the pitching plan for tomorrow and then going forward, knowing you have 3 in a row?
Yeah, we have 9 guys available to pitch tomorrow, and we'll choose one of them, and he'll get guys out for as long as he can, and then we'll go to the next guy, 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 until we figure out how to get 27 outs against a really good team.
What's the pitching
plan? The most important part of what he said
forward?
was, we got 9 guys available. We'll give one guy the ball to start, and he'll get as many outs as he can until he can't get outs anymore. And that's what they did. He wasn't lying. He went to Atkenhausen and let him go as long as he was getting outs. And he got you through the 6th, 3 up, 3 down. They ran him back out there for the 7th, and he led off the 7th by hitting Burke with the pitch. And then Denton reached on the fielder's choice, where Thompson got to the ball and flipped it to Dugas, and he couldn't turn 2. And then he got Scott to strike out. Dreiling came in and pinch hit. He walked Dreiling. And that's when they had the error after that. Boy, I thought in the 7th. That's when Cooper came in. Okay, my apologies. Cooper came in after the hit by pitch. Denton got on the fielder's choice where they flipped it to Dugas, but he couldn't turn it. Cooper got the strikeout. He walked Dreiling, and then Ahuna hit the ground ball to Thompson, who was playing second base, who he booted it. But then they got Inslee to ground out to just nub one toward Trey Morgan. And then Cooper was really fine in the 8th and the 9th. He was pretty awesome. So, I mean, that's pitching. We'll go through the offense. Let me say some more what's up to y'all. It's Michael Beloso, Andy Boy, Bradley and Graffia. Appreciate y'all for watching along with us. Jude, Jesse Viator. Yeah, you know, I'm sure some of y'all are saying this, and you're 100% right. 1,400 people watching. That's freaking phenomenal. Thank y'all so much, man. Smash the like button. Please take a second, hit the like button, and subscribe up. I totally forgot where I was going with that. I was blown away by seeing 1,400 watching live, which is awesome. So thank y'all. It is a great night, Trent. Lucas Blanchard said Skeens tomorrow. No. So I'll just kind of look at some of your questions here, and then I'll go back and talk offense. Lucas has Skeens tomorrow. No, I can't see it. So, so Skeens pitched Saturday. He threw 123 pitches. That would give him Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. On 3 days rest, you're not bringing him back on Thursday or on Wednesday, excuse me. You could bring him back on Thursday for something. I don't think you'd bring him back on Thursday on 4 days rest and let him go 120 pitches again. But it is really hard to imagine a scenario where they would bring Paul Skeens back tomorrow on 3 days rest. So I think who do you start tomorrow? Like, look at who's available and look at who he had up. He had Blake Money and Gavin Guidry up in the bullpen at the end of the game. I mean, that kind of tells you what you need to know. We've said this a bunch, but you know, Jay's going to go with the guys he trusts, and you know, the fact that he had Money and Guidry up tells you those guys are next. But it's very much what Jay said after the game last night. You give one guy the ball and see how many outs he can get, and then you hit to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. Money gave up 2 runs in his 2/3 of an inning against Georgia, and then we didn't see him again. We did not see him in the SEC tournament, did not see him in regionals. He pitched the final inning in a third following Skeens in the super regional game 1 against Kentucky, and faced the minimum. No, I'm sorry, he faced 1 over the minimum. But let's see. I'm trying to remember now, because they went an inning at third, but he faced 5 hitters. Maybe it was the drop strikeout, I believe, is what happened there. Anyway, so regardless, tomorrow I think you'd probably be looking at Money, Guidry. You've also got Herring, and you have Javen Coleman as well. Just if you're looking at, Jay said today there were 9 pitchers available. Well, you used 2 of them. The 2 you used were Atkenhausen and Cooper. They would not be available tomorrow, so you'd have 7 available tomorrow. Money, Guidry, Herring, Coleman. Little is still there and available. I don't think that's, I don't think that's exactly the direction you want to go. But again, man, when you look at the outing Nate Atkenhausen gave you, man, that was reminiscent, really, really reminiscent of 2017 with Caleb Gilbert. And Gilbert, it was a different scenario. Now, I want to be clear, this was a different scenario because the game in 2017, remember that you had to win the losers bracket game. You beat Florida State. It's very similar to this. You beat Florida State and you lost to Oregon State. That was the game where Eric Walker blew out. And then you came back and had to beat Florida State a second time, which you did, and that got you to play Oregon State again. So, the second Florida State game that year, which would have been the equivalent of this game here. Sorry, y'all. The second Florida State game, you had Jarrett Poche, who went 8 innings. So, I mean, Poche and Lang were your sort of co-aces. So, Poche, in effect, pitched the game that Atkenhausen just did. And then, of course, after you won that game, you got to play Oregon State twice. And in the first game against Oregon State is when Lang went, and Lang dominated. You won the game 3-1. And then in the game to get you to the championship series is where Gilbert had his monster performance. So a little out of order, but what today did in Atkenhausen going as deep as he did is it put you in a situation tomorrow where in 2017, that was the game Lang pitched. Well, this is your bullpen game. So you're going to have you're again going to have somebody step up in a big way tomorrow. So, okay. Let me just run through some of the offense for this game. ATX said, Matt, your text hasn't gone out. At least I didn't receive it. I sent it, but because it goes to so many people, it does take a little while to populate. So some people get it sooner than others. So, let's see. Palermo Trapani regarding Thompson and bunting, the ESPN crew called it. He was far back in the box, likely to pop it up. He did it twice. Donovan Morrill said, what are we drinking? I got Blanton's tonight. This is the Calandro's barrel pick of Blanton's from a few years ago. So crack that tonight. As far as let me just kind of very quickly run through what happened offensively in the game. Again, quick reminder, I know a lot of people are just now joining us. Please take a quick second, smash the like button. If you're new, please subscribe up to the channel, and I'll remind you again about HUDCO. The way that you can, we'll always do this for free. The way you can sort of say thank you or whatever to help me out is by all this hail and everything. Let HUDCO come do a free obligation, no roofing inspection. HUDCO's pinned in the chat. Just fill out the form on the homepage. We'll come give you a free inspection. Hope everybody's really safe. So, just real quickly, let me just run through the offensive game flow and kind of what happened. LSU had a major opportunity in the first inning. Dylan Cruz worked a full count walk, which was awesome. Then Tommy White struck out looking. He was a little overpowered. Cruz got the second on the pass ball. Morgan singled, but the left fielder was playing so shallow that Cruz was held at third. So again, you had first and third here with just one out. Dugas lined out to shortstop. So 2 outs, runner on third, and Cade Beloso came through with the knock. Man, some guys just know how to hit. And maybe even more than that, Beloso and Dugas being fifth-year guys are so impressive because they have so many career at-bats, y'all. It's something we probably, and I'm guilty of it as well, that as much as we talk about it, we probably still don't talk about it enough. There's something to be said for just like a quarterback. If you're a quarterback and you're a fifth-year guy, you have just been in every situation possible. That's why we're all high on Jaden Daniels, right? He's been in every circumstance you can imagine in a career. So there's very few things that are going to shake him or rattle him. So when you're Cade Beloso has had, in his career, 613 career at-bats. And he played in the SEC. There's just not a lot that he hasn't seen. So, it's not surprising that tonight, Cade Beloso comes up with 3 big hits after, he was hitless, in the game yesterday. So to go 3 for 4, it was just his day, man, and he was awesome. And of course, one of the hits was the little flare down the left field line late in the game, which he kind of just put in no man's land, which awesome. But anyway, great to see Beloso come through in the big spot there. And you had a chance to get more, but Thompson struck out swinging, and Thompson really had a rough go. He's had a rough day. He's had a rough College World Series. Until the error at second base, the one thing that I would say about Thompson really is that despite the struggles he's had at the plate, he has not carried those struggles into the field with him, because he has been spectacular at short. But then, of course, he and Dugas flipped positions, as they've been doing really since the SEC tournament. And and he kicked the ball at second. But so you missed an opportunity to get more there. Milazzo got hit by a pitch in the second. We'll talk about Milazzo playing for Travinsky tonight. I know a lot of you have asked, but you went quietly after that. And that was really when Beam got into a rhythm. You went down in order in the third. You went down in order in the fourth. No, I'm sorry, you didn't go down in order. Beloso singled. Then Thompson popped up the bunt. Again, never bunt. And then Joe Bear grounded into a double play. So you wasted a leadoff single there. And boy, he at that point, Beam was just cruising. Struck out Milazzo, struck out Pearson. Cruz singled on him up the middle, then White struck out, so he struck out the side in the fifth. And then you broke through with another run in the sixth. And again, this is an instance where it could have been more, but Morgan led off with a double, and then Dugas singled on the bunt. He was bunting Morgan. The throw went down the right field line. The run scored, and Dugas goes to second, and Beloso walks. So you've got first and second with nobody out, and it could have been more. And then Thompson popped up the bunt again. So then Joe Bear grounded out, and Milazzo popped up, and what could have been a really big inning, where you had a run home and a runner on second with nobody out, it ends up being just a one-run inning. So, look, I know y'all hear me talk about never bunt all the time, and I don't need to go too deep into all the metrics of that, but maybe one day, if y'all are really interested, I'll talk more about it. Curtis Blanchard said, why are we still trying to bunt? What are our bunt statistics for the year? I have it right here. Hang on. I'll tell you what they are. Ultimately, here's what I'll say about it. For those who ask, I'll give you the extremely abbreviated Cliff's Notes version. Let's see. My apologies. I don't have it right here. I thought I did. Here it is. LSU sacrifice bunts on the season has 14 on the year. By comparison, Kentucky leads the SEC with 55, Vanderbilt 22, Bama 21, South Carolina 21, Georgia 18, Tennessee 16, Auburn 16, State 16, Arkansas 15, LSU 14. So it's something you've only done successfully 14 times this year. And you try to do it twice in an inning. But anyway, long story, extremely abbreviated about bunts is this. There is a run expectancy metric in baseball. Basically, in a situation, what is your expectancy of scoring a run? And what all those metrics have found out is that outs are the most important predictor of your run probability, meaning when you have more outs, you are less likely to score in every situation. So whether you're moving a runner from first to second, a runner from second to third, runners at first and second to second and third, no matter the situation, every time you do that and give up an out, your run probability decreases. So while it feels like the right thing to do, statistically, it is not the right thing to do to sacrifice bunt. Now, if you want to bunt for a hit, if you want to bunt to score a run, okay, I'm okay with it, with a safety squeeze. If you're trying to score a run, that's the objective of the game. I'll give up an out for a run, but I'm not going to give up an out just to advance a runner because mathematically it is the wrong play. So now listen, if you're talking about 9-year-old baseball when they're still picking boogers and flowers and they can't field a bunt and make a throw, okay. But at the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska, with the best players in the country, you should field a bunt and make a throw. 1,600 watt. We have cracked 1,600 watching live. Thank y'all so much, man. That is phenomenal. So anyway, so LSU's up 2-0 in the 6th. Missed a really good opportunity there. They went up and down in order in the 7th, and then they got another run in the 8th. Again, another opportunity to do so much more damage than they did. This is one of those where you look back and you go 5 runs on 8 hits, but man, did you have more opportunities to score than that. Morgan led off with a hit by pitch. Dugas was hit by pitch. They brought in Halverson for Combs there. Beloso flied out. And then mid-count against Thompson, they brought in Sewell. And it was obvious. The guys on the broadcast nailed it. They were bringing in Sewell, who has this 3-quarter delivery, and they were trying to get a ground ball. Because Thompson was not moved at all by Halverson throwing 100 miles an hour. Because Thompson tied him up and drilled 2 down the left field line. And he was an inch away from a 2-run double twice. So they went and got Sewell to try to get a ground ball. They got the ground ball, but Moore couldn't turn the double play. So they got the lead runner. Then Joe Bear was hit by a pitch and advanced to second on. Then there was the wild pitch with Milazzo up, and that's when Morgan scored on the wild pitch, and then Milazzo grounded out. So you scored a run without the benefit of a hit in the 8th inning, but again, they loaded the bases for you. They gave you 3 base runners in that inning, and you only scored 1 run, and it was by virtue of the wild pitch. I will say also, because I know a lot of people have asked, so let me just address this really quickly about Travinsky not playing. So on the LSU radio broadcast pregame, Chris Blair said Travinsky had a nagging injury. Maybe that's true. However, Jay never discloses injuries. Okay, like Jay still to this day hasn't even said that Garrett Edwards and Chase Shores have had Tommy John. So I'm not calling Jay a liar. I just think there is a ton of gamesmanship there, and I don't think he never wants to give away strategy. It's why he never announces a pitcher. He never talks about injuries. He just never wants to give up any type of advantage, perceived or otherwise. And we were doing AFR, and I'll tell you, I think there might be one bit of validity, which I'll get to in a second, because I think there was a situation where they could have pinch hit for Milazzo. But anyway, we're doing AFR. We see the starting lineups come out, and Milazzo's in the game. And Musso says, and I think he was right here thinking this, he said, look, the wind's blowing in, which we knew at the time. This is probably going to be a game where it's a close game, runs are at a premium. I'll give up a bat for a defender at a premium position, right? So you trade Travinsky's bat for Milazzo's glove in that situation. And, by the way, when it was in the 5th, was it the 5th? I believe it was the 5th. In the 5th inning, yes, Ahuna doubled. Ahuna doubled after Stark had been hit by a pitch. So you have second and third and 2 outs. And Atkenhausen buries the breaking ball. And Milazzo blocked it up. Remember, at this point, it's a 2-0 game. Second and third, 2 outs. That's why Milazzo's in the game. Milazzo's in the game and blocks up that pitch. Otherwise, you go to the backstop and they got to run. And then Ensley, of course, flew out on a 2-0 pitch. So that's one of those situations where you acknowledge, okay, if runs are at a premium, if this becomes a situation where every base, every run matters, you want you want defense at that position. So, here comes the weather. Whew. I will say that I thought so. With that said, my apologies. With that said, in the 8th inning, Milazzo's at the plate. You're up 2-0, and you have the bases loaded, and there's 2 outs. That is absolutely a situation where you could think about pinch hitting for Milazzo. Now, I would think normally you would only do that if you're losing and you have to generate offense, because at this point you're winning. You're up 2-0, and if you just don't give up a run, then you're good. And by the way, in the next half inning is when they put Paxton Kling in for Braden Joubert in right field. So they made a defensive replacement there. You're up 2-0. That would be the spot when you make a defensive replacement. But if you wanted to pinch hit for Milazzo there, you could have. The fact that they didn't might suggest that there's some validity to Travinsky being hurt. But I would also say the fact that Sewell was in the game, who's a righty, you're not going to bring in a righty to face a righty. You'd bring in a lefty. And the only left-handed bat that you have on the bench is Ben Napolt. So they're not going to pull Milazzo and his glove to give Napolt an at-bat in that situation. So, anyway. All right. All right, here we go. We'll get back to some of y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Again, if you're just jumping aboard, please smash the like button and subscribe up to the channel if you're new. We'll keep doing these for as long as LSU plays. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us here. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, I'll just get to questions now. I'm scrolling to the bottom because they're going so fast. I'll just do questions, so y'all fire away if you got them. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in this game that I wanted to get to. Z Taylor 1993. Any chance Hurd could pitch tomorrow? Give me 1 second. I want to see what Hurd's pitch count was. My inclination is to say Hurd gave you. I want to see his pitch count. Oh boy, that rain is coming down, dog. Y'all got roof issues? Give us a shout. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. We cover the entire state of Louisiana. No, Hurd threw 65 pitches yesterday. No, so 65 pitches yesterday. You're not bringing Hurd back tomorrow. You could bring Hurd back on Thursday. So, I would say a best case for LSU is the bats really get going against Wake tomorrow. You find a way to win that. Then Thursday you come back with Skeens on 4 days rest, and you'd have Hurd for something to try to get you into the championship series. Now the other thing I'll tell you too. Look. MVP vote so far is Trey Morgan. Morgan had another great night. Morgan has been sensational at the plate. He was 2 for 4. He's raised his batting average up to 319 now. By the way, Dylan Cruz did raise his batting average to 429. So he's 2 points away from Cruz with a 2 for 4 night. So he's 2 points away from tying Rafe Rhymes, 3 points away from passing. So he would need another big night tomorrow to pass Rafe Rhymes' single season batting record. Let's see. All right, Wood Duck is gone since y'all are requesting that. Samuel Militello bullpen pitching game tomorrow. Yeah, again, so I think some of you have asked that. I think, by the way, the one thing we didn't mention there was that in the 9th, you had Dylan Cruz come through with the bomb, the opposite field bomb on a day when they said home runs couldn't be hit. And y'all, to be very honest, Dylan Cruz in his second at-bat absolutely pissed on one. It was in the second. And Milazzo was on base because Milazzo got hit by a pitch. And Cruz absolutely pissed on one to right center, and it was a warning track fly. That on a still day is long gone. On a day where the wind's blowing out, it might be the farthest home run ever hit in that park. I'm being a little facetious there, but yes, the wind cost LSU a couple in that game today. Let's talk a little bit about Wake and what you're likely to see from Wake tomorrow. Who's well rested, and I'll get to your questions. Gomaha 23, what's up? Cajun Country, what's up? Raymond, what's up? I think you need to start Guidry. If you start Guidry, you need Milazzo behind the plate. So just to be very abundantly clear about this, my feeling on the matter: if Hayden Travinsky is really healthy, like if he's injured, then that's an easy decision. You start Milazzo, and that's what that is. But if Travinsky is healthy and able to play, I still want Hayden Travinsky's bat in the lineup. I do also think that there's a very real possibility that Jay Johnson watched a couple of pass balls against Wake Forest and said, we can't afford that in what is likely going to be a close game. In a game against Wake Forest on Monday, you probably thought it's going to be really hard to score runs. I can't have an out in my lineup. I need a guy that can run into one and change the scoreboard and put up a crooked number against Hartle. So, maybe Travinsky is hurt. Jay doesn't disclose injuries, so that's like Jay hasn't even talked about Gavin Dugas. Like tonight on the broadcast, I don't know if y'all were noticing, but even Kyle Peterson today was talking about Gavin Dugas. He's like, man, he's short arming everything on Dugas. Like they finally talked about the two of them switching and Dugas short arming throws. It's the thing we've talked about for a long time here. Gavin Dugas dislocated his shoulder against Kentucky. That is, like, you saw him writhing on the ground in pain. It was a very serious injury. It was not just a bruise. That's obvious. It's not just a bruise. But he's a friggin' gamer who knows this is it for him at LSU and is on a great team that has a chance to win a championship. So he's just letting it hang out and going out there and battling for his team, which is freaking phenomenal. And I love that about him. I mean, so much so that you have guys like switching positions on the middle infield because for the good of the team right now. So, but point is, like, Jay don't talk about injuries. So I don't know why he would disclose to anybody that Travinsky was hurt. No, anyway. So tomorrow, Wake is going to throw Seth Keener. He's their number 3. Seth Keener on the season, a 2.18 ERA. He is 8-1 on the year. He has thrown 66 innings. In those 66 innings, he has 90 strikeouts. So not quite the strikeout total of Rhett Lauder or Josh Hartle, but still a very, very good arm. As Wake has many of them. It's why they are, as I say, it's why they are what they are, man. It's why they are the best team in the country this year. So, now, sorry. I'm trying to catch up on my spot here. So a little more on Keener. Keener is he's a junior. He's a 6'2" righty. in his most recent outings, he pitched against Stanford, went an inning and a third, only threw 19 pitches. So, in theory, no problem. Did not pitch in their super regional, but pitched against George because they swept it against Bama. But he did pitch against George Mason in the regional and went 7 innings and struck out 13. 7 innings of no-run, 3-hit ball where he struck out 13. So it's another dude that's really good, man. You got another really good arm you're going to face tomorrow, but he is a righty and doesn't have quite the strikeout numbers that Josh Hartle does, who we saw on Monday for Wake Forest. So, okay, Mitch Pace, is Matt on acid? No, I am drinking a little whiskey though. Is Keener Jordan Malazzo? Is Keener a product of the Wake pitching lab? Did you know Wake had a pitching lab? I didn't know they had a pitching lab. How did you know they had a pitching lab? Did somebody talk about Wake having a pitching lab? Rachel Hart, I'm going to say something. I'm proud of our boys. Hey, look, Rachel, I'll tell you this. We sat here. It's one of the reasons I love postseason baseball, man. I love it, and I think y'all know that, but I love it. We sat. Think about over the last 48 hours. This is the third show we've done now. Over the last 48 hours, the elation of beating Tennessee on Saturday night behind Paul Skeens, just having a dominant performance and putting Tennessee on the brink of elimination, to 24 hours later, the dejection of losing to Wake Forest the way that LSU did in a game where you got that performance out of Ty Floyd and you had first and third with nobody out in the 8th and you saw the unravel in the 6th, and it was so disappointing. And now you come back today and you beat Tennessee, you eliminate them, you get that performance from Nate Atkenhausen, which preserved so many of your arms for tomorrow. And you feel dramatically different. I'm not here to poo-poo on anybody. I want y'all to have an awesome night. What you have ahead of you is still very daunting because you're going to have some combination of sorry, I was reading a question from Dylan Wright, which I do want to answer, by the way. Asking about Jordan Thompson's defense. What do you think? You'll have some combination of Blake Money, and I'm only leading with Blake Money because he was the guy warming up tonight. He and Gavin Guidry. So, Money, Guidry, Herring, Coleman, Little, Bryce Collins is available as well. I'm missing somebody. There should be one more arm I'm missing. I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. If someone knows who I'm... Hey, look, Hamilton Keener said that's my brother. Proud of him. Oh, Dutton. Thank you, Dutton. Thank you, Dutton. Dutton is the one I was missing. Thank you. I don't know if that's actually your brother, but if that is, it's cool. Thanks for watching. Respect. He's had a great year. Great team. So someone just asked when was the last time Bryce Collins pitched. Collins, I thought it was SEC tournament. Collins pitched against. So it was it was the Mississippi State game. It was the 14-13 game that they lost on Mother's Day. That was the last time Bryce Collins has pitched. He went 2/3 of an inning, 2 runs on 2 hits. He allowed the 2-run homer. So anyway, we haven't seen Bryce Collins pitch in a game. So this is kind of my point, right? As we start to kind of hammer through who might they throw, yes, Collins is available and he's fresh, but we literally haven't seen him throw since that game against Mississippi State. It's why we talk about this a lot, where you're paring down the number of arms. Well, yes, you have all these guys, but who do you trust in these types of situations? Well, ideally, you can make that decision, make that call on your own, however you want. But there's also the reality that you might have to get outs and you have to put someone out there on the mound. So while Collins hasn't pitched since the Mississippi State game, he might actually have to be an option for you. So let me see. Who was the other one y'all asked about? Forgive me. Dutton. Dutton was the other one y'all asked about. Dutton. Dutton last pitched against A&M in the SEC tournament. He faced one hitter. God, was that the homer he gave up? He faced one hitter in the SEC tournament. So, anyway, so like you've got these guys available, but they haven't pitched for you. I don't think Christian Little's pitched since the SEC tournament as well. I'll check on that just to confirm it. But so like you understand the point, right? Like, yes, you have these arms available to you, but Jay Johnson has told you by virtue of who he's used in the postseason, who he trusts. They haven't used Christian Little since the Georgia series. So he did not even pitch in the SEC tournament. So Collins hasn't pitched since the Mississippi State weekend. Dutton threw to one hitter in the SEC tournament. That's the last time he's pitched. And Little hasn't pitched since the Georgia series. So, yes, you've got those guys available, but no, I don't think you're going to use them. I think what you're going to try to do tomorrow is throw Money and Guidry and Herring and Coleman and try to get through the game that way. And if you can, and your bats come alive, and you can find a way to scratch cross runs and win that game tomorrow, awesome. And then you come back on Thursday, and that's when you've really hit reset, because now you come back on Thursday and you've got Paul Skeens available to you on Thursday. So, and probably Thatcher Hurd for something as well. So, okay. Oh, Dylan writes, it asked Matt, Jordan Thompson deserves to be recognized for his defense in Omaha thus far. Outside of his error at second tonight, he's played very well defensively in the College World Series. He'll be better at the plate tomorrow. That's not really a question, but I do completely agree. And one of the things that I was going to tweet before the error at second base was he's done a great job of not letting his struggles at the plate, of not taking his struggles at the plate into the field with him. It's one of the things I remember Maneri saying a lot about Bregman the year when Bregman had that sophomore slump, and he was really fighting it. And if you remember, Maneri at one point even moved him down to like 8th in the order. One of the things he said often was, despite the struggles offensively, Bregman never carried his bat into the field with him. He just kept playing at an elite level shortstop. And you've seen Jordan Thompson do that in this World Series. In the first game against Tennessee, Thompson was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. In the second game, he was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So that's 1 for 8 with 6 strikeouts going into tonight. So, 1 for 8 with 6 strikeouts going into tonight. And tonight, lights just flashed. And tonight he was 0 for 5 with a strikeout. So he's 1 for 13 with 7 strikeouts in the College World Series. 1 for 13 with 7 strikeouts. Like, he's fighting it. That's bad. That's very bad. But again, he continues to play a really good defense, which is great to see. Barry Jocelyn, why the heck do we bunt? We just watched the replay of Thompson the fourth Oive. I also don't love that Yeah. I don't love that they try to bunt when they haven't really bunted all year. Hang on. I think we're good. Are we good? Are we good still? 1,600 watching, man. 1,646 to be exact. That's awesome, and I'm blown away, and thank y'all so much for watching. And I know people keep coming and going, so I'll just keep reminding you. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. At the risk of chasing a lot of you away with this, I'm going to do it anyway while I pour another whiskey.
Hudco Roofing, Hudco Roofing. When you need a roof, call someone you know. Bosco, Ontario.
All you need is Hudco.
Hudco Roofing, Hudco Roofing. Call Hudco Roofing.
364-1007.
Thank you so much. Carly Woodard says we want Drew. Andy Boyd, Jingle, LF Go. Cajun Country wants to ask E-Rock. I appreciate y'all for watching, man. I know we got a lot of regulars here, so thanks. And to all the new people, cheers. Go Tigers. LSU wins. They stay out. Yo, just, okay, very randomly before I get back to the questions. Like, for me as a fan, like, I'm not talking about Matt, the radio guy. We did lose like 200 viewers on that. No, actually we didn't. We're good there. I'm looking at it here. It sounds, sorry. I actually don't know if this is still connected. I think we're still good. Yeah. Oh, that's why our Wi-Fi is rebooting when the power, because the power went out. That's what happened. So we are on my data there now on the phone. So like, me as a fan, that could be an elimination day, like the last day of your team season, there's always just a little more anxiety. Because like, that could be it. You know what I mean? Like, we could have gone to bed tonight with this amazing LSU season, which started with so much promise and had such highs this year, and, you know, moments of disappointment. Like every baseball season. I mean, you've got, like, every baseball season in the history of ever has great moments and has bad moments. But man, the fact that they won and you live to play another day is awesome. Like, I'm pumped about it. The fact that you sent Tennessee home, like, their fans right now are dealing with the reality that their season's over at the hands of LSU, which is so awesome because, y'all, you're kind of their daddy. I did an interview today with, not kind of, you are. I did an interview today with Josh and Swain, my buddy Jason Swain and Josh Ward, who do radio in Knoxville. And the last question they asked me was, what do LSU fans think of Tennessee? And I said, someone said, do anyone know when we play? Tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Game tomorrow against Wake Forest. The game on Wednesday, because whenever people are watching this, Wednesday, Wake Forest, 6 o'clock. The only time that would change is if you get to Thursday. So if you play the if necessary game on Thursday, that would change to the day game. That would be the only game that would be the 1 o'clock game. Every other game that LSU's played because of where they are in the bracket. The Thursday if necessary game, both of the if necessary games would be Thursday, and it's not determined what time that would be. So what we know is LSU and Wake are tomorrow at 6 o'clock, and then the Thursday if necessary game would be TBD. We don't know that. And then if they make it to the finals, Saturday, 6 o'clock, Sunday, 2 o'clock, Monday, 6 o'clock, if they make it. So there's your game times. I lost my spot. I think I was talking something about, like, the anxiety. Oh, Tennessee. Okay, thank you. Tennessee, real quick. And I made the point about how, look, nobody likes Tennessee or Tony Vitello, the brashness of that team. Say what you will. Was it good for the sport? Was it bad for the sport? It's not likable. So nobody likes them. Of course, but a lot of that animus is built organically. You can't make a program care about another program. Like, LSU and Florida wasn't a great rivalry in the 90s. Florida kicked the holy crap out of LSU. That only became really interesting in the 2000s when they were flip-flopping national championships and You had some really dramatic games and the Tebow with the cell phone thing, and then now you go through this and the fog game and throwing the shoe, and then there was the Hurricane Matthew stuff in 2016, and Geis goes the wrong way. Like, all that's built organically. And that is kind of what you hope is happening in baseball with LSU and Tennessee, because LSU doesn't have a baseball rival. I mean, yeah, there's always Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and there's always stuff, but really it's, who's good at the time. There's big series and all that sort of stuff. But this is one that feels like it's it could grow organically because both Johnson and Vitello are both in their mid-40s. Johnson's 46, Vitello's 44. They're guys that could be at their respective program for the next 10 or 15 years, winning a whole bunch. And it could be an LSU Tennessee, battle for conference supremacy, which is pretty cool. Let's see this thing. I think I need it. There we go. Now we're good. All right. Randall, Matt, Arkansas is definitely a rival in baseball. They've gotten the best of it lately. I don't think so, Randall. I don't think Arkansas is the LSU's rival. That's certainly not historically true. Mike D, I think bunting Thompson was 1 to move the runners, 2 to avoid the double play. Had the first attempt successful, the following ground that would have sent the runner third. But it wasn't, Mike. And that's the point that I make all the time about bunting. Like, it feels like the right thing to do. Statistically, it is not, because it is not a guarantee that you get the bunt down. It is not a guarantee that your runner advances. It's not a guarantee that even if the runner advances that you score that runner. Like, look at Milazzo in the 8th inning. He's your worst bat is up to the plate with bases loaded, and Sewell buries one, it goes to the backstop, you get a run. Like, what if you're trying to bunt there? Like, they gave you a run. There's the point is, again, statistically, you're more likely to get a single, double, triple, homer, a balk, a walk, a hit by pitch, a pass ball, a wild pitch. There's so many things in baseball that can happen that aren't at the cost of giving up an out for the opportunity to advance a runner. So anyway, you don't need to hear me say it anymore, y'all. Well, maybe some of y'all do, but anyway. E.K. Sullivan said we have an analytics program, but not everyone buys into analytics and everything, E.K. That's the point I'm making. Dylan Wright, Matt, to your point, LSU, Tennessee budding rivalry, expect some big recruiting battles between JJ and Vitello going forward. Jonathan O'Neill, right now is when we could all love to see Christian Little. We thought we were going to see. Yeah, Jonathan, I'm with you on that. I just don't think you trust him to give him the ball. I don't know what the scenario that would unfold where you trust him to give him the ball. Not when you have, if you just play out the scenarios in whatever order tomorrow, Money, Herring, Coleman, Guidry, Dutton, Collins, those are all better options than Little. Little's stuff is very good, yes, but and by the way, Christian Little has pitched in Omaha as well when he was at Vanderbilt. So he's been there, but I really listen. The thing about him too, he is going to be drafted this year and he's going to sign. Because someone is going to look at a dude that's 6'4", 225, that throws 97 and goes, I can refine that. I can't find 6'4", 225 that throws 97 on every street corner in America. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to refine it. So someone's going to draft him and he's going to sign, but I don't think he's going to pitch tomorrow or in this College World Series. Brandon Phillips just joined. Do you think Skeens pitches tomorrow? I do not, Brandon. I don't know that there's a look. I'll say this: I thought Cooper was going to start today. And I thought there was no way in hell he'd start Skeens against Tulane. So Jay has done some things that are, I don't mean this in a negative light, but counterintuitive, to where like when there appears to be an obvious answer, he's gone the other way. And look, he was right. He was 100% right about Atkenhausen tonight. I mean, he went with a guy who he trusted in that spot against a lineup that struggled with lefties. That's why we all thought they'd go Cooper. He went with Atkenhausen, and who hadn't, who gave you an extended outing in the SEC tournament, but he was awesome. It was 100% the right decision. Like, Jay gambled and nailed it. So, I think the reason that I'll keep saying I don't think he's going to throw Skeens against Wake Forest is it's so much more than just at this point, like, is he ready to get on the mound and give you something? It's you have got to protect that kid's arm. He's a month away from putting $9 million in his pocket. So, Cajun Country. Okay, you're 2 whiskeys in. Floyd. I'm not. I just poured the second one. Floyd in the 6th did not throw one ball. No, Cajun Country. Why is this confusing for you? Like, I understand. It's the first thing I said last night on the postgame. The ump squeezed the zone in the 6th. I literally tweeted that. I was like, if you want to have a tight zone, fine. If you want to expand your zone, cool. Changing the zone in the 6th inning of a College World Series game is unacceptable. Like, I'm with you. He squeezed the pitchers, and I gave you the reason. He squeezed Floyd. I gave you what I felt was the reason. I felt that umpire was tired of LSU giving him attitude every time he called a strike against the hitters, which Tommy White rolled his eyes several times against me. Definitely got a retaliation strike called against him in the 5th. And then I think Ty Floyd, same thing. And when Ty Floyd, on the 0-2 pitch to Hawk, where he thought he struck him out, and Ty Floyd like stared at the ump and leaned his head back, at that point that ump was like, tough titty, you're done. So he squeezed him. Absolutely he squeezed him. That's also not why you lost the game. You scored 2 runs on 5 hits and struck out 13 times. You had 1st and 3rd in the 8th inning with nobody out and couldn't get a run home. So I don't know what to tell you. If you think that's why you lost the game, then you would have to go back and look at every pitch of the entire game and tell me if that umpire missed balls or strikes both ways throughout the entire game to tell if there was consistent, because you have a butterfly effect. What if in the 1st inning he calls a ball instead of a strike and a guy walks and then you get hit? Like, there's a whole list of things. It's so easy and convenient just to say that cost your team the game, but that's what fans do. It is scapegoating to deflect the blame from your team, which they deserve. So let's stop talking about that game. It's over. Yes, we all agree the umpire was terrible. Everyone agrees the umpire was terrible. He changed his strike zone in the 6th inning. That's also not why you lost the game. Okay. Devin Kelly, what's good? Haven't seen Ack in a while. You see how well that went. But I don't know who you're saying that relation to, but the other thing that was like, Atkenhausen, when he has been healthy, has been really good this year. I don't know if you're referring to Christian Little. Like, Little has not been good really at any point this year. Cortland, what's going on? State all-freshman center fielder into the portal. Yo, what I'll tell you about the transfer portal is the thing that the conversation I had last week was how much do I want to say? It was last Wednesday I had this conversation. So the day they left for Omaha, I had this conversation. Suffice to say, Jay Johnson is very well aware of the transfer portal. And of the top 10 players that are in or are expected to be in the transfer portal, LSU will get a considerable amount of those players. Is that sufficient? So what I would tell you is, don't fret about the transfer portal. Just sit back and enjoy the show. All right. Kevin Bantha, what's going on? Dennis Guidry. Golf South, what determines home and visitor team at this point of the CWS? Like, really good question. And I genuinely don't know the answer to that. I would think it would be the way that, like, I know at some levels it works is who has not been the home team yet, or if it's the same number of home, it would be like the higher ranked team, or it could be a coin flip. Just circle back through some of these. I'm trying to just, y'all stay at the bottom of the comments so I can see the most recent ones. I know they're coming pretty fast, so thank you for watching. We're back up over 1,100 watching again. I know we lost a few with the power outage there, but thanks to y'all who came back. We're at 776 likes. I think we can push that to 1,000 likes, which I'm not sure. I think we might have done that on Saturday. I think we might have gotten to 1,000 likes on Saturday, but after the first win over Tennessee. But man, we had a peak concurrent here about 1,600 tonight, which was awesome. So thank y'all so much. And again, for all who just joined us, remember Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Terrible weather now. There was in Bruley today, I saw there was hail, like tennis ball size hail. If you had hail, would love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing. Look, Triple D225 said, y'all hit that thumbs up. Thank you. Please hit that like button. We appreciate y'all very much. We just pushed past 800 likes. I love it. We can do it, man. I appreciate y'all. Tim C. Matt, do you think Jay will go after Wake Forest pitching coach? So, the initial list that I was told was so Corey Mascara, who is the Wake Forest pitching coach. However, the belief there is that Corey Mascara is going to be the heir apparent to Tom Walter. So he's going to stay at Wake and then become the head coach whenever Tom Walter retires. Nate Yeske is Texas A&M's pitching coach. Yeske was with Jay Johnson. Yeske was with Jay Johnson at Arizona, and I think Nate Yeske is the guy that it ends up being. The other name that I was given was Robert Woodard, who is the head coach at Charlotte. And you might think, well, why would he leave being a head coach? Oddly, well, here's a great example. Look at what's happened at LSU the past 2 years with your pitching coach. You've had Jason Kelly get the Washington job, and now Wes Johnson got the Georgia job. Power 5 schools are more likely to hire assistants from top programs than promote smaller level head coaches. That, not to say that never happens, because it does. But even when you look around the league, like Dave Van Horn was at Nebraska, Jay Johnson was at Arizona. Chris Lemonis was at Indiana. So you see my point, like, usually what you'll see is like SEC or major programs hire other Power 5 head coaches that are having success and give them better Power 5 jobs. It's rare that you see a G5 head coach get the LSU job. You know what I mean? So Florida State hired Link Jarrett away from Notre Dame. That's more of what you see. So the head coach at Charlotte probably isn't going to get a Power 5 head coaching job or a major Power 5 job. So that's just something to consider. Why Robert Woodard might leave Charlotte. And I'm told like he would take the job if offered. I don't know that he's going to be offered. And then I was told also that Jay, and I was not given a name, but what I was told also is that Jay was considering a professional coach again, the same way that he pulled Wes Johnson a year ago from Pro Bowl. So, and remember Alan Dunn, when Pulmonary hired Alan Dunn, got him from Pro Bowl. So there could certainly be someone in Pro Bowl that's a wild card. But if you made me guess today, I would tell you I think Nate Yeski from Texas A&M would be the guy. Let's see. Dustin said, "Damn it, boss, scroll up." Jerry Baldwin. Ryan Metter, what advantage does LSU have tomorrow on Wake Forest? Well, okay. So Wake Forest is going to start Seth Keener. He's been their number 3 guy. He's got a 2.18 ERA. In 66 innings pitched, he's got 90 strikeouts. And 16 walks. So whoever LSU starts, it's advantage Wake Forest. But in theory, Tennessee had an advantage tonight with Drew Beam over Nate Atkenhausen. Atkenhausen was making his first start of the season. So there's that. Defensively, Wake Forest is a better team. And offensively, they hit 308 as a team and 130 bombs. I mean, they're really good. But so is LSU. I mean, offensively, kind of a push. Pitching, certainly an edge to Wake. Rest, edge to Wake. LSU will have a crowd advantage. And they got the best player in baseball in Dylan Cruz. And they got an offense that can hit 1 through 9 and has hit some of the best pitchers in the country. So, Keener threw against Notre Dame in the conference tournament. Only went 4 1/3. Gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. In his last regular season weekends, the last weekend of the regular season, he threw against Virginia Tech, threw only 2 innings, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, 3 strikeouts and a walk. They lost the game to Florida State, although he pitched well. 7 strikeouts, 3 walks, no runs, no hits. Pitched 5 innings, but they lost the game 4-3. He pitched twice against Boston College. Gave up 4 runs and 3 hits, only made it 2 innings, and came back in relief the next day. Pitched 2/3 of an inning. So, look, there's been times this year where he's been got. But, by and large, been really good. Spent part of the season as a reliever, and obviously he's been the number 3 guy here of late. So that's who you're going to face tomorrow. All right, let's see. Any more, y'all? What we got? Evan Williams is Coleman pulling an Atkenhausen tomorrow. I don't think Javen Coleman's starting. I know some of y'all have asked. Maybe he will. I didn't think Atkenhausen was starting tonight. But again, like we'd seen Atkenhausen pitch. We haven't seen Javen Coleman pitch since the SEC tournament. It would stand to reason you throw Blake Money or Gavin Guidry. So, anyway. Devin Kelly. I'm going to do you a solid and actually smash the like button tonight. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it, bro. Oh, man. Devin, we got to get you in touch with Terrio, bro. Got to get you selling some roofs, dog. It's time. We had giant hailstorms, man. Our phones are going to be blowing up tomorrow. I mean, every time it rains, our phones blow up at HUDCO. It's just because I tell you all this all the time. Like, there's two ways people find out they got roof damage. You either let someone come do an inspection and you spot damage, or you wait till it rain like this and then you realize you got water. You got a leak in your roof. You got water in your house. So it's really the only ways people find out if they got roof damage. So whenever it rains like this and like it has today, our phones blow up. So we're happy to help, man. Y'all holler at us. Hudco Roofing. Angela Perryman, how soon do you think Jay will hire a pitching coach? I will tell you, Angela, I was also told in that same conversation that transfer portal and recruiting is taking far greater precedent over pitching coach, hiring a pitching coach. This portal window is open until it's July 13th. Let me see. I think it's July 13th. Let me just make sure I have it right. Sorry, that wasn't it. I can't find it. I'm not going to sit here and bore y'all while I sit here and do a Google search for it, but I'm pretty sure it was July 13th. Anyway, I'm not telling you it's going to be that long before they hire a pitching coach, but what I will tell you is that it was made abundantly clear to me Jay is far more interested in making sure they recruit and hit the portal than hire a pitching coach. So if it happens in that time, great, but recruiting is taking advantage, is taking precedent. That pitcher was in a meth lab for sure. Cortland, part of me wants to see Money shove and be a hero because he's the first guy out of the dugout congratulating the guys, want him to have success. Blake Money, if he does throw tomorrow and throw well, that would be a great sort of redemption story. It really would be a phenomenal redemption story if we got to see it. You know, a guy who came here with so much promise, big, tall dude. Remember the story. He was left off the postseason roster as a freshman. Changed his body, lost weight, cut his hair, put his head down, went to work, was the Friday night starter to open the season last year, and ultimately lost his job because he just wasn't effective, and has clearly taken a far lesser role this season. But, you know, here of late, what you have seen from Blake Money is that he is an out-getter. And it's the thing Jay Johnson said when asked who he was going to start. He said, we got 9 pitchers available. Give somebody, let them get as many outs as long as they keep getting outs. And, you know, for Money's... Oh, my God. Did y'all feel that? The whole house shook on that one. But for Money, he's made 17 appearances, and you know, only 6 of those were in SEC weekends, and then 1 was against Kentucky when you were up 14. So, you know, 7 of his 17 appearances have been against SEC teams, but only 6 of those were in regular season play. His longest outing of the year is 3 2/3. He's done it twice. He did it against Central Arkansas and against Northwestern State. So you're not talking about... Look, Blake Money's only thrown 31 2/3 innings this year. So he has a fresh arm. He is a starter who can certainly extend. And it would be very cool, man. You're right. For all those reasons, you're right. It would be very cool to see him go and shove. American Patriot, bad weather just left Lafayette. It was really bad. It's here now. Dustin B said, "Man, I'm about to call Hudco." You can, y'all. You call Hudco. That number, this number. Call this number. 225-364-1007. That's the Baton Rouge office line, but it rings to like 4 people's cell phones. So it rings to Richard Tilley, Ryan Terrio, Joe Morales. That might be it. I don't know if it rings to anybody else. It does not ring to mine, but if you call that number, it will ring to their cell phones. Now, I don't know if they're going to answer at 10:30 at night. Y'all know I'm here. Cajun Country, what number to get Terrio now? If you call that right now, I'm telling you Terrio's awake. If you call that number, there is a really legitimate chance Ryan Terrio answers that phone right now. Oh, you mean I was about to call Hudco. I know how to get him here fast. Let's see, Joel. Oops, not Drew's asleep. Oh boy. So Joel said Skeens threw a bullpen last Wednesday per West at his intro press conference. That's right. He was at his intro press conference and said he threw a bullpen with Skeens and went, yeah. But really, Joel, when you're throwing a bullpen, you're not throwing 50 pitches in a bullpen. A bullpen day, maybe like 12 to 15 pitches. Here you go. Pitching Academy says throw 20 fastballs. In 4 in each location. Said then throw curveballs, changeups. Said do not throw more than 50 pitches at a bullpen session. So don't throw more than 50. I doubt it. Huh?
That was on the ground.
Where? Oh, that's a wasp. But remember also, like, you're not throwing high intensity pitches. Those aren't like high stress pitches. You're just working from a mound. Those aren't competitive pitches in a game where you're maxing out at 100 miles an hour. So it's just different, right? We're still over 1,000 people. Y'all, we are at 873 likes. I need 127 likes. Of the 1,002 people watching right now, and y'all are awesome, and thank you so much. I know there's 127 of you who have not yet hit the like button. So please just hit the thumbs up. Just as a favor to me. If you're watching on mobile, just hit where it says live chat, just X out of the live chat, hit the little thumbs up, hit the live chat icon again, the comments come right back. Father J.D. Mathern, I dislike Tennessee. Can you do that, Father? I didn't know priests could dislike anyone. I didn't know that was a thing. Randall Offrecht, who will catch tomorrow? So, Randall, for me, if he is healthy, I'm catching Hayden Travinsky because I want his bat in the lineup. Central Mississippi Whitetail, done. Thank you, man, so much. So if Travinsky is healthy, I want him in the lineup because I want his bat. I think it's going to be hard enough to hit tomorrow. You're facing a pitcher in Seth Keener, he's a 6'2 righty, he's a junior. He's got a 2.18 ERA. Like, it's going to be hard enough to generate offense, as you saw the other day, against a rested team with their full bullpen available. I want bats in my lineup tomorrow. So for me, I want Travinsky in the lineup if he's healthy. Now, if he doesn't play tomorrow, that probably tells you what you need to know. And y'all talking about you need a backstop back there. Like, I'm with you. Like, I'm the guy who always says I will trade a bat for a glove at a premium position. Catcher, shortstop, center field. And we've seen that a ton. We saw it with Papierski early in his career when he really struggled to hit, but he was a brick wall behind home plate. In 2009 championship season, they put Austin Nola in at shortstop. Austin was hitting around 200, but he made you better defensively in your middle infield. Andrew Stevenson, as a freshman in 2015, was he basically covered 2 positions, but he hit 180. So we're up to 950. I love it. Thank y'all so much. So yeah, I'm with you, man. Like I'm the guy who I will trade a glove over a 56 game regular season for at a premier position for a bat. I would. But in a 1 game, this is your season against that opponent. I need bats in the lineup tomorrow against that team. Let's see. Let's see what the Wake Forest pitcher's worst outing of the season. I'm looking at him right here. He went 2 innings against Virginia Tech, allowed 4 runs on 2 hits, walked 3. I'm sorry, that he struck out 3. But 2 innings would have been his shortest outing as a starter. And that was the last weekend of the regular season, by the way. Chico Lynch over/under on tomorrow's game. Well, today was 11. And by the way, shout out to Jimmy Ott, who was 11.5. Otter came on AFR and gave you under 11.5, so 5 certainly qualifies. But let me hit DraftKings Sportsbook, see if they got it posted yet. I don't know if they do, but I'll tell you right now if they've got it posted yet. They do not have it posted yet. I'm looking at the TCU Florida game for tomorrow, but they do not have it posted yet for LSU. Gulf South, if Travinsky was hot, I'd agree. He's 0 for an Omaha. I'm taking the wall behind home plate. Man, I just can't be down with that because you're talking about a 2-game sample. I can't be down with that. Not whenever you have a guy like that who has the ability. Like, I would literally, with Travinsky, take 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts if the 1 is a 3-run homer. So I need that in the lineup tomorrow. See, and look, and Randall said, well, and what is Milazzo? Asking Gulf South as far as, what he is offensively. That doesn't matter. Like, you're putting Milazzo in the game understanding that anything you get offensively from him is lagniappe. And he was on base twice tonight. He got hit by a pitch, and he got hit by a pitch. I thought he walked. He was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Got hit by a pitch. I thought he was on base twice. Maybe it was just once. Okay. Am I dreaming, y'all? I thought Milazzo was hit by a pitch twice. Okay, maybe not. But he was on, anyway, he got on base tonight. So, you would want the 3-run homer, T-Bob. Yeah, no, that's me. So T-Bob was you. Let's see, ask Matt, we've seen fewer homers in Omaha the last couple of days. Do you expect that trend to continue? If so, good or bad for LSU overall? Yeah, no, that's completely dependent on the wind. You've just seen it. At the beginning of this College World Series, the ball was jumping off the bat and flying out of the park. The wind's blowing in. It plays like a graveyard. So, I really think it depends on the win. And look, that's talking about Milazzo. Said Gulf South said probably gets us an extra 5 strike calls tonight. Travinsky can't frame a pitch. I completely agree. Like, please don't misunderstand. I am the guy who for 4 years has been stumping for that. And there are so many things about an elite defensive catcher that, and I'm not telling you that Milazzo is an All-American or anything, but what I'm telling you is there are so many things beyond just your caught stealing rate and pass balls. Like, what doesn't show up is how many pitches in the dirt you block up. What doesn't show up is your ability to be still behind the plate and frame pitches, which you can absolutely steal calls if your ability to be still behind the plate and frame a pitch. And he's fantastic at it. Like, He's your best defensive catcher. That's not even that's not even a question. I'm with you. Completely with you. I just know that I just believe tomorrow you are going to need runs. So I would just want my offensive lineup in the game. So if Travinsky's healthy, I play him. I don't know if he's healthy. Okay, hang on, real quick. I need to figure this out because I'm looking at the box score and it says Milazzo was hit once. I'm just going to very quickly do this because I know when he hit. All right, so he hit in the second and he was hit by a pitch. In the fifth, he struck out. He led off the fifth with a strikeout. So pop out. So he went hit by pitch, strikeout, pop out. Hit by pitch, strikeout, pop out, ground out. No, so that's it. Okay. Hit by pitch, strikeout, pop out, ground out. Where is out? So he was hit by pitch once. I thought he was on base twice. So no, they're right. Shout out Cagenomics. See, but no, it says Gavin got hit twice, but this box score is only showing Morgan got hit, Dugas got hit, Joe Bear got hit, Milazzo got hit. There were 4 hit by pitches, but each was only once. And they walked 4, so they gave you 8 bases tonight. All right. Yeah, imagine if LSU had Shores or Edwards or Taylor. Yeah, that's one thing I know we haven't talked about enough. And I think I might have mentioned it on the stream the other night, but I mean, in fall ball, Skeens had just come over from Air Force. This was in the fall, before we had gone through a full off season training and nutrition and everything. In fall, they said Grant Taylor was on par with Paul Skeens. Like it was splitting hairs who the best pitcher was. Like Grant Taylor was going to be your number 2 this year. And initially the thought with Taylor was that he was going to be the closer. You're coming out of the bullpen throwing 100 like Hess used to do. But losing Taylor was significant as well. Broadcast said they hit 5. I'm looking at it here. Morgan, Dugas, Joe Bear, Milazzo. 4 hit by pitch, 4 walks. They walked Cruz, Dugas, Beloso, Pearson. All right. ATX. In fall, Jordan Jefferson was untouchable. A different sport, completely. And you're still throwing pitches against Dylan Cruz and Tommy White and really good players. And by the way, that was not only through fall, but then also he was awesome in your pre-season as well. So not just in the fall. All right. All right, we might be about done, y'all. Yeah, Tyler Cooley, you're not going to see Brady Neal. He is in the dugout, by the way, but you're not going to see him play. What will it take to get Taylor back next year if somebody doesn't give him his number? I think it's really going to be a match. So Grant Taylor is a draft-eligible sophomore, and he just has a decision to make. Someone is going to draft him or would be willing to draft him in the top 10 rounds. And if you're in the top 10 rounds, you've essentially already agreed verbally to whatever your slot would be. And so he's going to have to make a decision. Will he take whatever's offered to him and then go just start his pro career? Or does he come back to LSU, pitch his junior season, and try to go from being a top 10 round pick to a first round pick? And that's a 7-figure decision that he would potentially have to make. So we'll see. All right, y'all. I'll wrap this thing up, man. Randall says LSU's plus 230 on the money line tomorrow. Wow. All right, George, thank you for watching, man. Zachary Snyder, how would you set pitching to get the most out of Paul? You throw him Thursday, and then on 3 days rest, you could get something out of him on Wednesday if you get to a Wednesday championship game. And by something, I mean like maybe he starts and gives you an inning or two. Or if you're in a save situation, he could close the game. Okay. Cajun Country said, wait for the 1,000th like. We're 3 away from 1,000. Come on. We got 3 people who haven't hit the like button. We're 3 away. Come on. 998, we're 2 away. 999. Somebody do it. Who's going to do it? Do it. Yeah. There it is. 1,000 likes. I love it. 1,004. We blew through it. Okay, y'all are great. You're welcome, Dylan. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate everybody. Oh, sorry, did I say Wednesday? Monday. I mean, so on 3 days rest on Monday. So again, on Skeens, because I know everyone's asked a bajillion times. I don't think Skeens throws tomorrow. If you get to Thursday, the if necessary game, Skeens starts on 4 days rest. He throws in that game. If you win it, get to the championship series, he would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 3 days rest. Then Monday, if you get to a Monday championship game, he could maybe in theory on 3 days rest give you something. Start and give you an inning or 2 innings, or you save him if you get into the 9th in a close game and he could close it for you, something like that. So, yeah, Zachary Hardy said, just think if we had the bat and defensive Neal. No, brother, like, Blake Neal's bat was not there this year. He has power. He showed power at times. But Brady Neal is hitting 209 on the season. 209 with 27 strikeouts and 67 at-bats. That's 1 every 2.5 at-bats he's striking out. Like, no. He hit 3 homers. He had a pretty dramatic homer against Arkansas in that Friday game. But I think Brady Neal has a very high ceiling because he is a good defensive catcher, and I think the bat will come along as well. But Travinsky's bat today is better than Neal's, and Milazzo defensively is a better catcher than Neal. Or they're on par with each other. But no, if you're trying to argue that Neal gives you a glove and a bat, no. He's at 209. Call Crash Davis for rain delay so Skeens can go on Friday. But you don't want that. Because if he pitches on Friday, then you don't get him at all in the championship series. Fire up the Frogs tomorrow night. I love it. Okay, y'all. Tied game going into the 9th tomorrow. Skeens comes out of the pen, strikes out the side, breaks Ben's record. Milazzo hits a game-winning double. We go to Thursday's game and lose 17-2. Please, God, no. Anyway, okay. And then one more. Does Skeens pinch hit if you get desperate? Absolutely not. He has not taken an at-bat all year. Why would you put him in a live situation having not taken an AB all year? If you need a right-handed bat, you would go to Bear Jones, Travinsky. If he doesn't start, you'd have him off the bench. I mean, you got options from the right side. Paxton Kling, although he's a strikeout machine right now. And then the Polt is your only option off the bench from the left side. So, I mean, I could pitch it Merrifield. So no. If you need a home run, then you're putting Bear Jones in. to go, just like he did against Ole Miss. You go run into one and hit a bomb. Okay, all right, we're done. Again, one more thing before we go. Shout out to Hudco Roofing. They'll just do me a solid, man. You, family member, friend, neighbor, coworker, whatever. If you had hail, and we all, like, hail was everywhere, would love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. I'll remind you again, check your homeowner's insurance policy, because so often your wind hail deductible is lower than your named storm deductible. So it would cost you less to repair or replace your roof from a storm like today than it would, in theory, based on your policy, after a hurricane. So I love the Musso jokes right now. But anyway, all right. Thank y'all. Have an awesome night. Hudco's pinned in the chat. Click the link, fill out the form. Thank y'all. Have a great night. Go Tigers. See y'all.